One of the things that you're going to go through if you buy into sort of conventional, where you get an education, you go off, you get a job, you go and, um, work at that job and sort of climb the corporate ladder or climb any ladder. In my case, it's the educational ladder. Um, is that at some point you have to accept modesty, where you realize that the climb that is often told, right, that climbing the corporate ladder, the moving on up, that is a myth. And what you often have to do is accept modesty in your life, or you realize that it may not be as high of a climb as you think it is, right? Like you'll get to a certain place and realize that it's not as tall of a climb, as tall of a ladder as possible. Your dreams may shift. You may have other things that go on. And ultimately, at some point, you have to accept your world for what it actually is. And I think that that is a story that's not told so much in much of the reality around us, is that the story that is told is that you continuously climb and then you're done, right? Like it's whatever, right? At the end of it, you get thrown off onto an iceberg, and then you're pushed off to sea. But in reality, it's this this accepting that you're not going to climb as much as you can or want to. It's also accepting that the world doesn't necessarily change as fast as you would like. And a lot of what we have to do in life is balance this notion of climbing, whatever the hell that is. I don't even know what that is, right? I don't even know what happens. Is there a ladder? I don't know. But, um, balance it with a tremendous amount of modesty, a tremendous amount of simplicity, tremendous amount of just, I'm going to be okay. Right. And accepting a lot of the world for what it actually is. It's this balance between, I'm going to keep moving on up and accepting the world and the beauty around you. Right. So it's accepting that the the things that you do are not going to sort of propel you. Right. I think that's a myth that I think I bought into, and I still buy into a lot. I'm not saying that I am really particularly strange with this, right? Like, I'm not saying that I am some sort of Yoda, but I buy into it, right? Like, I get sucker punched every time where somebody says, you just do these 5 simple steps and then you will move up and your world will come into, it'll be wonderful. Um, I get sucker punched every time whenever somebody sells me, particularly credible people that sell me on this kind of dream that as you move up this ladder of life and you reach whatever the pinnacle is. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what any of this language is, but this is what we actually sell ourselves on. Is when you reach that pinnacle, then everything is said, right? That goes for when you finish high school, then your life is going to be easy. When you finish, maybe some of us go to way to university or college, then your life is going to be easy when you do that. You get your first job, life is going to be easy. You get married, life is going to be easy. Like all of these kind of steps. When you retire, life is going to be easy, right? All of these things that happen, and then you grow old and you have to go into a nursing home, and life is going to be easy. All of these things about the sort of progression of life that we have, that we sort of have this view of, of progress or moving on up. And ultimately, we have to accept a lot of that things don't change as much as you would like, or, accepting the simple modesty of who we actually are at any given time, right? And looking at the beauty of the world around us. And I think, we get so into this climb, we forget that the world is actually really beautiful. And we forget to go and just take a look around and say, actually, I'm doing okay. And that goes for at any moment of life, just taking a look around and accepting, even towards when you get the end of life, as we all eventually do, and you only have a few years left and you're looking forward to that moment, or I don't know what happens. It's a bit terrifying at the same time as looking forward to it, I think. Um, and accepting it, but also looking around and looking at the world around us and just looking at it, looking at the sort of beauty of it, right? I think going out into the world, going for walks, looking at the world, listening to the birds and the bees, you know, all of those things are just wonderful moments to celebrate, to accept, and just to absolutely enjoy. As I've gotten older, I've become less. I don't believe in that sort of climb thing anymore, as much as it's sold. For one thing, you can only climb as much as people allow you to climb, um, and that's a really big thing. You might have all of the energy in the world, but if you're surrounded by people that just don't have the same energy, they don't see it in the same way, not much is going to happen. Um, so part of me is accepting that that occurs. Right? Part of me is simply saying I need to realize that despite the fact I have this notion of climbing and what a perfect world looks like and all of that kind of stuff, I have to accept this world where we are right now at this given time. And to me, it's it's comforting, right? I think my internal struggle that I have is wanting to sort of change and grow and go up this corporate ladder and all that kind of stuff. But when I accept the world as it is and accept me as it is, then something changes to who I actually am. I feel much more at peace. Um, it's weird. I feel like at this moment, I feel like tingly feelings, right? Like I got the biological response I have is a sense of kind of like a little bit of nervousness talking about this, that nervous, tingly feeling. Um, but accepting the world, just looking around, looking at how beautiful it actually is. There's something about it. And I also think there's something that changes um, when you do that. I think other people start seeing that, where you, in a sense, is kind of giving one way to sort of frame it is like you're giving up, but another way of framing it is that you're accepting the world as it is. And I think it's incredibly important to do. And when you do that, when you accept the world as it is, all the things they say, nobody's coming, nobody cares, all that kind of stuff, um, you embrace that, right? And that is different. It goes, that is the starting point. That is the reference that it doesn't matter until it matters, right? Like the that drive, that idealistic thing, you can't force it, and you have to accept the world. That's all I wanted to say. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day.